Hello. So, I've decided to change up a bit. I'm dropping the whole intro. If somebody doesn't like it, well, sucks to be you. Today, I'm going to explain to you, or, well, tell you a very fascinating story of a faction in Warhammer that I very much enjoy and love every time when I read about them. The faction that I'll be speaking of today are the Necrons and their early beginnings in Warhammer, or back then when it was known as White Dwarf. I wasn't around for that lore. As I said, I joined Warhammer about a decade ago. I've played through games, yes. I've read some books, yes, and I enjoy it. So let's get to the meaty and gritty of this faction. The Necrons at the beginning were known as Chaos Androids. Chaos Androids, imagine somebody decided to stuff a very angry demon in a tin can. What do you get then? Well, a very angry demonic tin can. Yeah, I love just imagining that. Just imagine a tin can with a pointy mouth and just trying to jump at somebody's ankles. Sorry. Okay, so they started as the Chaos Androids that were originally created by the Chaos Squads. If you don't know what a squad is, then let me get it easier for you. Chaos Dwarfs. Dwarfs that are a sub variant of humans. They all have the typical uh, characteristics of dwarfs from fantasy. Short, stout, muscly, bearded, horrible manners, and overall drunkards, but also lovers of smithing and crafting. In Warhammer, the dwarves, or more commonly known as squats, are like their fantasy counterparts. They live in the mountains. They dig for minerals, and they live. And their world is quite close to the galaxy's core, where gravity is a lot more denser. A long, long time ago, when humanity had discovered slip space travel, basically during the golden age of humanity, or old night as the Imperium knows it, they spread throughout the stars. Some went to some aquatic or hot worlds. Others went and found all kinds of things. Some worlds were infested like the Amazon jungle. Others were a total dumpster fire. But eventually, in the future, I'll get to explaining the Imperium too. For now, I'm explaining in these beautiful metallic androids. So, let me get back to what I was going on about. So these humans went and settled on worlds that were very close to the galactic core. So gravity is at an all-time high or low, or I'm not entirely sure about that. So basically, when you drop a pebble on our world, the gravity will pull it down, and you hear the pebble bounce. The planets that are close to the galactic core, when you drop a pebble on the ground, it won't bounce, it will sink in. So, these humans settle those worlds. And over generations and generations and generations of birth and evolution from a normal human that is about 6 feet tall or 180 centimeters tall for everyone that is obscure, they become a lot shorter due, due to adapting to their world. So instead of being tall, now they're short, they're more stout, have harder bones, heavier muscles, and their physique is physically visualized as a brick wall. Those fuckers know how to mine. And they stay like this for quite some time until finally they spot something interesting in in the orbit of their world. And what is that? An Imperial ship. Well, to them, they didn't know it was an Imperial ship. Eventually, they realized, and they got emissaries from that Imperial ship. And finally, what they saw is their distant now cousins, the original human template from Terra, from any other world that they reconnected with. Along the way, somehow, I'm getting off track, but there was a big schism at about 30k, about the 30th millennia, where one part of the galactic human empire switched sides and tried to rebel. That means a part of these space dwarfs also rebelled. And while all that shenanigans was going on, these now called Chaos Squads, or well, I'm gonna call them Chaos Dwarfs. It will be easier. They become one faction of that rebellion that decided to, well, we're gonna start meddling with shit. So, after the big rebellion fails, all these rebels are kicked out. Some go to remote worlds, other are left in real space and continue to raid and do their shit. Others go to a galactic wound called the Eye of Terror. That galactic wound is something like a gateway between the material world and the immaterial world. In the immaterial world, there are worlds, planets that somehow survive through the will of the Chaos Gods or through any other means. These Chaos Dwarfs settle on a bunch of those worlds that are either close to the Eye of Terror or inside the Eye of Terror. And through rigorous experimentations and innovations, they somehow manage to take a demon from the warp and stuff that thing into a robotic body, an android. And that, now called Chaos Android, is sentient somewhat, but it also obeys its creator's commands. Those demons inside those tin cans are not very willing, so they will follow any command, but will also try to fuck shit up along the way, like malicious compliance turned to 11. Woo. So, these Chaos Androids serve as one of the many forces that Chaos Undivided, or any other Chaos Warband or Renegade Warband of Space Marines or Imperials or anybody that serves Chaos can utilize these Chaos Androids as part of their army or be a standalone army on its own. Well, as far as I know, this Chaos Android ends its existence at about 2nd edition, when the first Necrons are introduced. The first Necrons are just a Necron warrior. But for its time and when it was introduced, the Necron warrior was basically the most powerful mini on the board, for it being the only mini recognized as part of its faction. There were no other different minis, just the Necron warrior. They also eventually introduced new minis into the faction. Necron destroyers, Necron overlords. They were the slow beginnings of what now we know as Necrons. So, this is my video to you. I'm starting a series. Yes, it's early, and I don't know if it's going to be a good idea, but I want to try. I'll try to make more videos and continue this series. Eventually, when I'm done with this faction, I'll move to the next one, and I'll do the same thing for every other faction I focus on. For now, it's the metallic men, the Necrons. This video is an introduction to this spectacular faction. I love what they represent. I'm a big fan on the whole skeletal army or necromancers or pretty much undead and all that, and they represent just that to me, only to me. I don't know if any other person thinks of them as a giant undead army, but their aesthetic of being pretty much skeletons clad in green glow, and everywhere they go, they just exterminate. And they do have some very interesting named characters that I laugh and love hearing about. So, enjoy your day, may the gods be with you, and watch out for that green glow. See you soon.